panic, and I want to address this thing head on. What transpired between Georgia and Texas with the defensive pass interference that was wiped out was a horrendous look for college football. And for those of you that have been under a rock, totally good. Understand that. Like, if you don't care about, you know me, I don't spend a lot of time on officials. I just don't. Because I come from the school of thought that if a play gets left up to the officials, if a game is in the hands of the officials, that's on me as a player. Like, I should never allow that to happen. So I don't focus that much on what's going on as far as officiating is concerned. I just don't. But when it's this egregious, it's hard to turn a blind eye. Georgia is sitting there up 23-8. It's late in the third quarter. Carson Beck's looking to his left-hand side, trying to work it to his wide receiver on what appears to be like a comeback. It's intercepted by Jahdae Barron. Flag on the play. Jahdae Barron returns it up the sideline, thinking, all right, probably going to get wiped out. Didn't look like much. See the replay of the play. Jahdae Barron's engaged with the wide receiver. Felt like there was contact on both sides. To me, the officials need to probably huddle up, let them kind of sort things out, talk about it for a little bit, and then ultimately put the flag back in their pocket. That's how it should have gone. Well, what actually happened is they called pass interference on Jahdae Barron, wiping out the interception and the return that would have Texas knocking on the door. Then that elicited a pretty significant reaction from the Texas Longhorns fans, which we will never condone throwing things on the field. It's absurd. Should never do that. It happened, however, and while they were cleaning things up, of course, replays of the whole situation were going down, which was only heightening the aggression and the anger there being felt in DKR towards the officials. They ultimately decided to huddle up then and have a conversation, in which case they decided to correctly decide to wipe out the defensive pass interference. So, two takeaways here. One, the officials ultimately got it right. They ultimately called it correctly. So, at the end of the day, should feel okay about the way the game and the moment was officiated, because they ultimately arrived at the correct decision. But takeaway number two, this is horrible optics. It's horrible optics because it gives off the impression that officials can change their mind as a result of the negativity that is raining down, literally and figuratively, from the home field crowd. Like, the optics are terrible. Really, really bad. Now, fast forward to the end of the game. It didn't have an outcome. It didn't affect the outcome. The right team won. The play was called correctly. Like, after the fact, all is well and good. But the mechanics of the officials not huddling and having a discussion was a huge mistake. And it got compounded by them changing their mind after having a couple extra looks, it appears, in the stadium. And that's a bad look. It's a really, really bad look. Because right now, guys, there are a million examples of officials that made really bad calls this weekend. And in some cases, they made really good calls. And you, as an official, when you throw that flag, you have to live with the circumstances of the decision that you made. In this case, they changed their mind. And I don't think that should ever be something that can happen on a football field. So it was a bad look. It was cleaned up. And like I said, they ultimately got the call right, but the optics are not good. And it's something that needs to be addressed at some point here very soon. Look, you make a bad holding call and you're getting booed out of the building, you got to live with it as an official. It is what it is. Well, in this particular case, the official made a bad call. He's got to live with it, whether they're throwing stuff on the field or not.